engineers, money is lost at the hands of such economists and accountants. Humanity dies at the end of religious scholars. Justice is lost at the hands of such judges. The collapse of education is the collapse of nation. Hence, keeping this in view, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India passed an education bill in the Parliament, that is National Education Policy 2020. Hence, today's webinar plays a very important role in understanding the role of teachers in the National Education Policy. Here, I take the opportunity to welcome you all for this webinar in the great historic industrial city, Kirloskarwadi, and Rayat Shikshan Sanstha's Dr. Patangrao Kadam Mahavidyalaya, Raman Nagar, Burli. I'm very also happy for the wonderful blessings and moral support given by Honorable Dr. Shivajirao Kadam, the Chancellor, Bharati Vidyapith Pune, Honorable Dr. Vishwajit Patangrao Kadam Sahib, Pro Vice Chancellor, Bharati Vidyapith Pune, Honorable D.T. Shirke Sir, Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Honorable Professor Dr. P.S. Patil Sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Honorable Dr. Anil Patil Sahib, Chairman, Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, Honorable Dr. V.S. Shivankar Sahib, Secretary, Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, Honorable Dr. Shivling Menkudre Sahib, Joint Secretary, Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, in organizing this webinar. I would like to extend my gratitude to every teachers for selfless service and a dynamic support. We are always grateful to you. Thank you, everyone. After this introduction, I take opportunity to introduce today's chief guest, Professor Dr. Mrs. Vimal Rar ma'am. She is PhD in chemistry from Delhi University and postdoctorate from IIT Delhi. She is a senior chemistry faculty teacher in SGTB Khalsa College under the University of Delhi. She has done her PhD from University of Delhi, and she has a very vast experience, about 1 decade of experience in the corporate e-learning world. She is also one of the pioneers in implementing ICT in the higher education in the country and is a techno-savvy teacher. Apart from e-learning, she has expertise herself in various activities. Also, she has a very research interest in the forensic science and organic chemistry. Dr. Ram ma'am is also called as an edupreneur in the field of e-learning with a decade of experience in the corporate e-learning sector. To her credit, she has many more research papers of national and international. She has a patent, many books written, presentations and projects, and invited talks in the national and international forums. So apart from this, a very huge biodata, what we have is of Professor Dr. Vimal Ra. So with a very short, brief introduction, I welcome and I thank Dr. Vimal Ra madam to be here in this wonderful virtual platform. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Abhijit Mane, for the wonderful words of introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. Most respected Dr. T.S. Bhosle, principal of this esteemed institution, Dr. Patangrao Kadam Mahavidyalaya, Ramannagar, Burli, from district Sangli. My gratitude to all the visionary leaders of Rayat Shikshan Sansthan. Under this esteemed institution, I was delighted to see the video and the campus, lovely campus you have. All other organizing committee members, Dr. Abhijit Mane, Dr. T.S. Bhosle, Dr. Dinesh Sane, Dr. Ashwini, Ms. Namrita, and most importantly, all my colleagues who have joined on this auspicious day of the Teachers' Day to have a webinar on very important theme, which is we are deliberating on role of teachers as envisaged in NEP 2020. Let me share my screen. I hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
visible.
Thank you. So first of all, my gratitude to all my teachers and my love to all my students and also to all my dear colleagues who have now joined in the virtual co-learning journey with us through the GAD-TLC. Because I think if we talk about teacher, I will not be repeating what Abhijit Mane said all about, right from Kalam sir to Radhakrishnan sir. And I think being one is the highest privilege, and having one is the blessings. But then we have to empower us in this technology era. So this is what my humble addition that I do is let us empower ourselves by becoming tech savvy teachers having Indian traditional gurus values. So I welcome each one of you in this webinar kept on very important day and pertaining to all of us. I will also congratulate UGC Ministry of Education to have sent the circular for organizing such discourses, which we can share our whatever knowledge, whatever work we are doing at ground level and some understanding. So those who are already having some understanding about NEP 2020, I will like to at least start from very basic and then try to connect everyone. So excuse me if I am very elementary in some of these topics. I will also start with Radhakrishnan quote is, a teacher presents the past, reveals the present, and creates the future. So I think we all as teachers, we have to be keeping this always in our mind. And as a matter of fact, when we try to implement this, it becomes a greater challenge. So the knowledge from our earlier days to preparing our students for the future jobs is what our journey, and we have to do justice to all. Coming to role of teachers as envisaged in NEP 2020. I'll first of all like to give an overview that as teachers, if we look at most important role, I think the dissemination of knowledge or the teaching is what is our main role is. But in addition, we also are involved, and it is also a responsibility to be undergoing research and publications around that, involve our students also in that. And this is actually now becoming more important in the light of NEP 2020, and I'll be talking about that. And in addition, we also are having various administrative roles in various committees and heads of the departments, to say, name a few. But then all that we are doing as individual teachers or as a group or through our institution is we are trying to achieve the goals of education. And if we like to know what are the goals of education, not only we have to build our student a competent professional, but a responsible Indian citizen, and most importantly, a good human being. So are we addressing to all these, or we are just focusing on the so-called curriculum or syllabi that we are given as teachers in chemistry, physics, geography, maths, and so on? So this is my humble request that we start introspecting. And I will also request all my colleagues here to please on writing whatever thoughts you are having in mind. I am having my chat open. So wherever I will like to integrate, I will do that, or we can take the discussions later. If we talk about the hallmark of education system, it changes with time. But are we able to cope up with the changes? I think this is again, as teachers, we have to look. Let me take you to the Guru Shishya Parampara in the rich heritage that we have heard how the teaching learning used to happen. But then there were many positive points, but it was not devoid of some problems. And the problems was there's only few sitting in front, not many. And now as we have more and more population, we have to cater to a greater number of learners' need. So access, equity, and quality all going hand in hand is a great challenge, which perhaps was not at the era when these gurus were there. But notice another thing is that these gurus were so enlightened mind. They came into this profession that we want to share our knowledge, wisdom, information, skill, whatever they have learned over the years to the next generation before we leave this world. That type of commitment is what I will request from all of you. Can we look for what in posterity we will like to leave as a legacy? And for that, first of all, we have to prepare ourselves to come to that level. And then once we become knowledgeable, sharing information, capable of sharing information, then it becomes dual responsibility that we spread it across the country and also do the hand-holding of our school education system. As the technology moved further, in between, we could also foresee that, yes, there were challenges when these gurus used to write on leaves or on stones. We can find so many evidences around that. But then coming to this board, I think one to few was resolved as you could cater to one to many. But even in this one to many, the four walls is a constraint. And I think that is where the role of technology is now helping us. Technology in face-to-face, where we had started having LCD projectors and other devices, but then now is the time to move even beyond. We were preparing in terms of various state governments, central governments, preparing throughout almost now more than 2 decades. Various governments have been working in the front that how the technology can be integrated into education to make it in terms of more access, equity, and quality front. But then in between came the corona, and we had no students in front of us. And this was the time I see that because I and my team, we are working in this direction from more than 2 decades now. But then corona, 2 years is what I will see the teachers' readiness to accept technology. And this has been a wonderful change, although it was not at all a good thing for us as human race, but then definitely in our education system, where we as teachers were fearing that something, if we are, this technology is to fear with, I think we have started accepting it, and it is something to empower us. And that is what is the very positive thing in corona. In between the corona phase, we had another very, very positive thing, the National Education Policy 2020. But then if you look at the spirit, I think national education needs to be treated at par with the national security. And the purpose of education is to empower the students through knowledge, skills, values, etc., for their all-round development. And as rightly said by Dr. Abhijit also in the initial remarks, that the collapse of education is the collapse of nation. And on 29th July 2020, we had this launch of NEP 2020, almost after 34 years, replacing the NPE 1986. So we can say that this is the first education policy of the 21st century. And actually, it is a vision document which expresses the aspirations of the nation. NEP 2020 aims at making India a global knowledge and superpower and a global study destination. We have to be keeping all these things in mind. And these are 5 important parameters which have been emphasized in NEP 2020 also, that education in terms of access to all, equity, accountability, affordability, and quality. So these 5 pillars, I think any change that we are bringing, we have to be always conscious that we should be able to have a perfect balance between them. Talking in terms of access, definitely the online education and open and distance learning mode can do wonders, provided it is having good quality content as the base and the teachers also supporting around that technology layer. The gross enrollment ratio, if we talk about in higher education, is to be raised to 50% by 2035. Around 3.5 crore seats to be added in higher education. And in 2018, we were at 26.3%. So almost you see from 2018 to 2035, it is double the effort we have done. And obviously, it is not possible to have the same number of universities which we have opened in the last 70 years to be replicating to get this double number. And that's where the online education and ODL will be having immense contribution. And these are some recent news articles that even when we are looking for 40% university credits, it is that can the existing infrastructure have more number of students, and whatever existing number of students and the more coming, some part up to 40% can be done through the online courses or MOOCs or these type of provisions. But all the universities have to be positively looking into this, how effectively it can be implemented. Even this is a news article that UGC to let around 900 autonomous colleges to start fully online degree. Another thing which has been emphasized in NEP 2020, which all of us also feel as teachers, that the curriculum should be light. Core essentials to be there, which form the base of the entire subject and the concept being evolved. As the knowledge is growing very fast in every discipline, we have to keep the modern topics in our syllabi. At the same time, whatever topics are redundant, they can be taken for self-learning and otherwise. So this is very important, because if the syllabi you keep adding, then there is no scope of activity and engagement, which I will be talking slightly later. Focus of education, it has been emphasized, has to shift from rote learning to creative thinking, problem-solving skills, digital literacy, inquiry-based learning, discussion-based learning, creativity, and innovation. So there is an emphasis on development of the creative potential of each individual. And here I will again like to quote Dr. Sir Pillai राधाकृष्णन जी, शिक्षक वह नहीं है जो छात्र के दिमाग में तथ्यों को जबरन ठूसे, बल्कि वह है जो आने वाले कल की चुनौतियों के लिए उन्हें तैयार करे. And the essence you can see how much in NEP 2020 and in earlier policies also the emphasis on quality and the shift from rote learning has been there. But then unfortunately, we have not been able to actualize them in our classroom situation. There is also emphasis on transforming the culture of assessment, because assessment drives learning, and whatever best you may be doing in your classroom, if your assessments are on simply the rote learn question, the students will pay emphasis only on the rote learning and ignore the other part. So in order to enhance the quality of education, the assessment have to be given due weightage, and all of us as teachers, we have to be prepared on changing our examination system, make it go away from rote based, and it should not be just that textbook content is there, the facts or definitions are there, and anything from outside the textbook is branded that it is out of syllabus or even protested. The type of questions we should be focusing in our assessment, they should be discouraging rote learning, conceptual clarity should be checked, thinking, innovation, and creativity. If we can give some problems, real life situation, can they analyze? Can they be given every time a new situation or an unfamiliar situation, and the same principles that we are talking about in our theoretical way, can the students apply them and solve them? So enhancing their problem solving and analytical ability has to be evolved by making assessments more meaningful. In terms of contribution in research, entire new vertical, the National Research Foundation has been proposed, and I think already steps are started in this direction. The National Research Foundation will be created as an apex body for fostering a strong research culture and building research capacity across higher education. And through this, funding of the projects as well as encouraging research in educational technologies is also being emphasized. If we talk about research, I think research and education go hand in hand. Lack of quality research in higher education, I personally feel, is mainly due to the dearth of creative minds coming out of education system. Till PG level, we are being spoon-fed with information, we rote learn, we get good marks, and when we enter PhD, we wait for instruction of PhD guide, as if now here also there is a curriculum that will be memorizing and then scoring high mark. So I think creative mind can provide innovative solutions to the problem, and that's where we have to prepare our students through our education system so that they can even become better researchers for the tomorrow. There is also emphasis on vocational education in NEP 2020. Integration of quality vocational education program into mainstream education, looking at the requirements of different streams of our higher education, they have to be integrated. A very good scheme, UGC started BVOC and MVOC program, and many autonomous colleges across the country and many other institutions are already doing that. But now is the need, when we are adapting NEP 2020, that how these already expertise with you already have industry linkages under that scheme, can be integrated as the additional add-on courses or for credit in the NEP framework, which can be integrated. And it has been again put up in this document that by 2025, at least 50% of learners through school and higher education must be having exposure to vocational education. If we talk about UG education, now there are multiple exit options, and academic bank of credit is facilitating that. It talks about that holistic undergraduate education with flexible curriculum. It can be 3 or 4 years with multiple exit option and appropriate certification within this period. MPhil has been discontinued, but then the PhD will now be multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. We all have to be preparing towards all these changes. There will be tailor-made degrees which the students on their own will decide out of a buffet of courses, some offline, some online. The students will be earning some in initial stage. Okay, we are able to do 1 year or 2 years. Now I want to do a job, and after 4 years, after 6 years, I want to again come back. So there are multiple entry and exit. and the details how it will be really implemented is being worked out at various levels, central level as well as state levels and university levels. So academic bank of credits, and again, I think you should be all knowing that it provides a unique opportunity to design the degree for the students. And this is the portal which is already launched now, abc.gov.in, which ensure that yes, as institution also you can log in, and as you can publish the credits of the student, and it is also beneficial in terms of the employer point of view. They can verify that yes, this particular student has these many credits coming from this university. So it will be like a mix and match, and the student reaching to a particular credit level, they can convert it into corresponding degree. The exact details are being worked out, but this is also a major change which is happening, and this DigiLocker under the National Academic Depository is for all academic institutions. Multidisciplinary education and research universities at par with IITs, IIMs are to be set up as models of best multidisciplinary education of global standards in the country, where the focus will be more on quality, and such models then will be percolated down through various programs to other institutions as well. And there are 3 types of HEIs which will be gradually evolving. Research intensive universities, which will be focusing on more of world-class research and high quality teaching across all disciplines. Teaching universities, there will be more emphasis on teaching. So high quality teaching across disciplines with some significant contribution to research. And there will be autonomous degree granted college, high quality teaching across disciplines at UG level. Gradually, there will be de-affiliation of colleges in a phased manner in around 15 years or stage-wise mechanism. And over a period of time, every college is expected to develop into either an autonomous degree granting college or a constituent college of a university. And that brings more responsibility on the shoulders of all the teachers, because all these changes, we have to be taking it in a very positive way, understanding the policy, understanding our environment, because it is not going to be a one solution to everyone. You all have to be working out in your own context and your students' requirement. National Common Test is also mentioned in NEP 2020, and I think in some form we have already seen CUET. There will always be challenges when we go in any direction, but I am very sure that these national level examinations will be providing students opportunity at merit level to be competing with each other, which is required in this global competency world. So this is to be similar to SAT exam in USA, but in order to make these schemes also more meaningful, as teachers also we have to learn so many things, that how the questions can be really made challenging, where we can do the differentiation between the various aspirants who will be putting these examinations. Expenditure on education is another very, very important parameter. What I personally feel is education and health should be fully supported by our governments. But then, India being such a big country, we should not be oblivious of the fact that yes, with the type of GDP and other things, we have to be also playing role in terms of generating resources, in terms of industry collaboration. Can we evolve some models where we can also look up for fundings from our alumni or evolve model? So it has to be all. And in NEP 2020, it has been mentioned that around 6% of GDP at the earliest it will be reached. And we all earnestly request our governments at different levels, state as well as central, to please give more allocation so that we can do more justice in terms of resources required for teaching learning as well as for the research. Internationalization of higher education in India is also a very important point in this NEP 2020. Many students are going outside in various foreign universities. If the same quality education can also be brought here, I think we can have control over brain drain. So healthy competition with Indian universities will also be there. Although there is I think many academicians going out and many academicians from outside coming here, we will all be also evolving and learning the better practices of each other. But then there is a challenge that courses need to be aligned with the needs of our students, what type of school education curriculum we have, so that there is a continuity in all these things. Higher Education Commission of India is again proposed, and I think so. Again, the progress is being made in this direction. HECI will be a single umbrella body for the entire higher education, excluding medical and legal education. And here, both the public and private higher education institutions will be governed by the same set of norms for regulation, accreditation, and academic standards. So these are the 4 independent verticals under HECI. One will be National Higher Education Regulatory Council for regulations, General Education Council for standard setting, Higher Education Grants Council for funding, and National Accreditation Council for accreditation. According to Kothari Commission in 1966, the quality, competence, and character of teachers are the most important factor influencing the quality of education. And this has been emphasized in NEP 2020 again clearly, that teachers truly shape the future of our children and therefore future of our nation. So if we talk about the concern about existing teachers, we have to incentivize, we have to make this profession so attractive that we attract the brightest of the mind coming in this profession. But those who are already inside, can we say qualified teacher means quality teachers? Definitely not. So there is a need of teacher education and higher education on continuous basis, and a continuous professional development of teachers can keep on improving upon the quality of existing teachers and more entering. And there has to be hand-holding, because in subject domain, the more expert a teacher becomes, he or she can do the hand-holding of the younger teachers entering the profession. And in terms of technology and the newer pedagogies, where we can also, as senior teachers, we can learn from our junior colleagues. The quality of an education system cannot exceed the quality of its teacher. And I think we all have to be working towards this in a very serious manner. Coming to technology again, this again NEP mentions that relationship between technology and education at all levels is bi-directional. So it is not that education is benefiting from technology. Even the technology will be improving by the way we are using it in our education sphere, teaching learning process, and it will help further enhance the quality of technology, which will also be, again, can be used for future generation of teaching learning processes. So if we talk about the concern of the nation in terms of effective implementation of NEP 2020 and wide spectrum of educational institutions, you can see there are big institutions, small, public, private institution, urban setup is there, rural setup is there. There are some only academic institutions, some are only vocational, some are schools, some are colleges, some are IIT, some are ITI. So much different flavor. And then we talk about multidisciplinary approach. There is a strengthening and collaborative work required in all of them to be taking it towards the NEP 2020. Talking more in the technology area where I have expertise, and we have now witnessed how we are having MOOCs a reality. The gazette for earning of credits up to 40% for our students, but we have to work a lot. And that's again the role of teachers, that you map the syllabus of the existing courses, what can be offered, and what new have to be evolved, looking at industry and society requirement. CBCS options and electives has to be also integrated in NEP 2020. We are also talking about many more value-based courses, add-on courses as per the NAC and other requirements. They are all quality parameters and indicators. We have to be working in this direction. So how using MOOCs we can exploit, so that in a class of 60 students, every student can get a different option or elective. That can be possible only with technology, not with the face-to-face classroom scenario. Fully online degree programs are there for lifelong learners. And here again, those who are interested in details, they can look up in this UGC Open Distance Learning and Online Program Regulation 2020, which is a merger of the earlier two regulations on ODL in 2017 and online courses of 2018. So any institution having quality parameters, they can start online programs as well. NEP clearly emphasizes the role of extensive use of technology in teaching, learning, assessment, education planning, management, entire part of our institution. So institution have to be now looking at the preparedness, not from the brick and mortar point of view, but the technology layer, which can empower teachers and students and cater to larger number of needs and quality parameters. It also guides us as teachers that we have to become effective online educators. It will not mean that if you are a face-to-face classroom scenario, traditional type of college, then it does not affect you. No, it will affect each and everyone, because every teacher can start the blended learning once they know these tools. So learner-centric pedagogies and the teacher's role in facilitating active student engagement with the content and with each other is very important. So what we are talking about is how you all can immediately start. Don't wait for a circular of NEP 2020 that yes, from this batch we will be doing NEP 2020 in this structure. Okay, the structure may come from top, either from your university or autonomous college can design, but then before that also, and those students who are in second, third year also, you can start implementing the outcome-based education in blended learning mode. So whatever curriculum you have, you see what courses, online courses are already there, what videos are there, what MOOCs are there, which you can guide the students for supplementary learning, integrate them in your classroom teaching learning practices through the flipped classroom type of methodology. Take these assessments and use the technology to prepare more number of formative assessments, and look at how your students are going out as alumni, what are the industry requirements, what are the society requirements, so that we can make them more employable and ready as entrepreneurs. So this has to be a continuous effort, not simply the subject discourse that we have been doing. So those institutions, all of us, we have to be playing active role in designing the curriculum as well as content. So curriculum may be looking like, okay, you are having the same points, but then in between, how we are disseminating the outcome-based education, a holistic approach to the students has to be taken so that they are molded into responsible Indian citizens, yet ready to work globally. At this stage, I will also like to mention another quote of Radhakrishnan ji. The end product of education should be a free, creative man who can battle against historical circumstances and adversities of nature. If they forget all those rote learning things, are they able to meet up with the challenges of their life? Is what education we have to be looking into. And that's where the focus on outcome-based education, where the more emphasis rather than know and understand has to be on able to do what our students are able to do or perform. I think that is where the shift has to be there. And we have to be doing every subject with some subject benchmarking, work in groups, look at your institution's curriculum, their course, and how, what activity, what videos, what teaching aids, what all group activities, what project work, what quizzes can be given, so that we can prepare the students into a new dimension. So entire OB framework is there, which I think even the NAC and all parameters are looking for. And you should be able to do the COPO mapping with whatever, even at question level, then unit level, course level, and at the program level. And not only the disciplinary knowledge, I think if you start making activity and try to do the mapping, in addition to your subject, are you able to link your activity or whatever project you are giving to the student, which will help them evolve their communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, research related skills, cooperation or teamwork, scientific reasoning, reflective thinking, information or digital literacy, self-directed learning, multicultural competence, moral and ethical awareness or reasoning, leadership readiness or qualities towards lifelong learning. I think if we can even do 3 or 4 parameters in different activity, then we will be able to touch all of these as the student graduates. Happy to share that I'm working on this AICT, the books, the same curriculum, the books are there, but then what activities have to be integrated to make it more aligned to outcome-based education and NEP 2020. And almost now the second year books are being written. And activities here also, it is a challenge that it is not at one time you give the activity. For every class you have to be evolving a new activity, because otherwise that also becomes a rote learning thing. So when you are designing activities or projects, just look at the real life situations, take some case studies where you also emphasize on the social ethical issue, some case studies where you can relate with some accidents or tragedies, industrial and real life applications with mapping with the skill set requirements they are having, environment and sustainability. We should not be waiting for that there is a one separate paper as per Supreme Court ruling, but then it has to be integrated in every conscious efforts when we are working with groups in the students. Digital and multimedia skills, these are something that we have to be always preparing our students into. Women empower and gender equality, consciously we have to be making our environment gender neutral so that there is equity to all sections of the society, including women. And happiness, I think we don't have to wait for, because happy mind is something where the students will be accepting what we are saying. So at this note, I am looking for some smileys coming from you. In between, we can always have some break, happy moment with our students where they will be again back to the learning that we are teaching, learning that we are doing through various engagement. I hope in chats you can write down. No? Come on, all of you, give a smile, please. This happy note. Okay, and we have to be, thank you. Respect for all religions and cultures. Again, we have to be making a better part of society, and that we can do consciously. हमें वो power है teachers के, because students are there for 3 or 4 years with us and really as we say we can make this positive change in our classroom and towards our country through various ways, interventions that we like to do. And now we are also having role of us as mentors. I will say we have to be, can I request those who are,
I request all the participants to mute themselves.
maybe unknowingly you have put it on, please look.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone. So when now we are having NEP structure, you must have seen it, many institutions have, and you can also look up at Delhi University has come out with a framework for first year. That add-on skill-based courses, value-based courses, project work, field work, internship, extension activities, community engagement, collaboration with the industry and other institutes. These are all the areas where maybe we have been working on these some part as individuals, but then now it has to be put up in a structured format and every student has to be exposed to these. So there is a lot of challenge. Now we have to really do outreach to have collaboration with other institutions, industry, community, and design some project work, field work, internships in this particular direction, which can be really building our student skills into the way our outcome-based education is envisaging. So experiential learning, participative learning, and problem-solving methodologies are to be used for enhancing learning experience. Our teaching methodology has to be learner-centric and ICT empowered. We have to move from learner-centric, teacher-centric to learner-centric, and flipped classroom methodology you can look up in detail. Assessment methods, when we are now going into more project and group work, we have to be using multiple assessment, not simply the subjective question. We have to tell them to give presentations. We have to make them into different type of ICT enabled technologies, or even the self-assessment, peer assessment. And we should be also learning how to design proper rubrics, or which is nothing but a scoring or grading tool which contains various criteria and benchmark standards, that if the student has been able to do only this, then this much mark, or to this level, or to this level. And it can be used for group as well as individual level. When we make questions, we have to again look up to create questions which are taking the learning towards higher level of higher order learning. So from remembering, we have to start moving to understanding, applying, create, analyzing, evaluating. In MCQ, creating is not possible, but then creating they will be able to do when they are in the process of some project or group work. And we, for now, getting time to do all this, I think we have to be tech savvy. The moment you become tech savvy and you find out these resources, good quality video, if not, you can also create your own by screen capture. It is now so easy. You don't need a studio. You don't need a high-end machine. Just your laptop and some simple softwares can do. And you can, whether it is basic skills or it is the advanced skills, till the use of LMS. So I'll just quickly go through that part. Right from Word doc to PowerPoint to Excel, I think we should be mastering all these, because they will be used in all our professional requirements of teaching and research. Live, these handling in the admin part, creating breakout rooms, and then making it more engaging, opinion posts daily. Even in these video conferencing tools, you're having so many options, you can keep on learning. But then coming to blended mode, where we are having students in front and then we are using technology, I think PPT is the most important tool. We should be not just reading from the screen, that should be just point, and we have to be, say, there's no second thought on this, that we have to be masters of our subject. We have to be preparing for that, and it should not be that whatever we have to just share, the same we are writing and the same we are reading, or that becomes a very boring thing. And it also gives the impression to the student that you don't know your subject. Come on. So this tool has to be empowering us, not replacing other Otherwise, students will say, Madam, sir, give me your PPT. I don't need you because I can rote learn. So your activities have to be new. The student should be really motivated. Yes, what I am going to get in this class, no book, no other content can give. So that type of challenge, I think we have to be preparing, use these PPTs for reducing times in good equations or graphs, use animations and simulations where it can make the concept simpler. Now, even we are having these type of models where you can show the 3D part, and the learning becomes easier. And even many teachers will say that, okay, the way I write gradually, sometimes that is what is doing wonders to the learners, then definitely capture that part also. So it has to be a mix and match. So what your routine green board or blackboard and chalk cannot do, technology try to leverage those limitations with the help of technology, so that the quality of your delivery becomes higher. The students are able to understand, they don't need to rote learn, and use that more time for engaging with your students. Also now, preparation of MOOCs and e-content. You should know how the static content can be multimedia enriched into e-content. What is the entire structural designing to prepare good quality MOOCs or online courses or as open educational resources. These are all the new roles which are coming, and you have to equip yourself. Many contributions our team has done, and in this 4-quadrant format also, now academic incentives are there. You should know how this can be. It's not simply in terms of 4 components, but it deep inside what all is required to prepare good quality content. And you, those who want to have more details, there are various guidelines you can go through, and we also can keep on conducting various programs on this. Also, there is a MOOC 4-quadrant format of MOOCs. So those institutions who are planning to prepare MOOCs or uh, prepare online courses, then they should be knowing these nuances, because that is also a provision. Moving towards digital space, we also have to be very ethical in terms of the use of copyrighted materials, what is fair use guidelines, how we can exploit open educational resources, the Creative Commons license, and use the plagiarism tools for assignments as well as otherwise. So these details are very important. You should also know what are the various open educational resources available, and how when you contribute, this is again a screenshot of part of CAS 2018 regulations, which is for our career advancement. So you can see the contribution in e-content and MOOCs and ICT is now being recognized for academic incentive. This teacher kit is my own concept, and you can also as a group come together and contribute in that direction. Those who are seriously looking into now going into next level professional type of videos, if you get funding or otherwise you're planning, then the professional videos you have to also look up into what visuals of high quality multimedia enrichment you can do, the chroma key technology, that how the background green or blue can be removed and you can put virtual things, even this table is not real. And you have to be preparing the skills required around like audio video recording, voice modulation, and learn the art of becoming performer. And believe you me, this will also help you make a good orator and a good teacher in your classroom scenario. Those who want to go even next level, storyboard for animations, instruction designing, template development, like I was fortunate, and thanks to UGC and MHRD for giving very big projects like EPG Pathshala, where we developed more than 5,000 content in 4-quadrant modules form. And you can all prepare, but in gradual, you have to be continuous on that direction. Tools for assessment also, I think now we have to move to e-assessments. They provide uniformity, authenticity, very effective, quick, and at least for formative assessments, we should be harnessing the benefits of e-assessments. And there are various types of e-assessment which can immediately provide the feedback, which is very important. So when you are making any question bank, do make the feedback why this option is correct, why this is incorrect. And not only MCQ, you can have drag and drop, you can have numerical, you can have audio video based questions, many questions which technology can provide. You can have online quiz makers. You are having many simple to start up with Google Forms, but then softwares like hot potatoes, you can have crosswords where the students can attempt, and all these can now where to put up, how to manage all this digital thing. I think we should be learning management system at every institution level and every uh, teacher level. You should be knowing how it has to be taken in a very positive way. And for assessments, there is timely feedback, timely analysis that you can do just on one click. You can do so much analysis in your class. And if you want to contribute at state or national level as open education resource, then also you have to have understanding of LMS. Or now even the royalty based publication is coming, where you can prepare the content not in the books form but in the form of books and ebooks. Even question paper setting, when you're having the tagging is very important, and here I will advocate that if you can try tagging with the Bloom's taxonomy, it will always be a good practice, and you can analyze what type of students are doing. Rubrics, I have already told you. National Testing Agency, when we talk about assessment and technology, National Testing Agency has been given the mandate to have various proctored examination. So there again, in terms of software and hardware, entire monitoring thing is there. Because for eligibility of the students to enter a next level or for any profession, I think for degree and certificates, their credibility is very important. So examination needs to be proctored. It should not be that, okay, the students are getting 98%, but then they don't know anything. So this is very important. And this is again one area where as teachers, we have to preparing ourselves to understand how these softwares function. It's very simple. Once you start going into uh, simple tools and then you keep on going advanced, there is nothing that can happen. So now you are having even AI advanced automated proctoring is there, and we should be preparing our students towards the live examination. So rote learning is not going to help, because life will give them all different question papers which no one knows. And also when we are now debating on virtual teaching learning through the various online tools, technology has moved to virtual and augmented reality in education. Artificial intelligence driven personalized learning is there. Already the scheme of MHRD where NEET courses are there. It is on AI platform. And here again, at the end, I will like to say that अच्छा शिक्षक वह है जो जीवन पर्यंत विद्यार्थी बना रहता है, और इस प्रक्रिया में वह केवल किताबों से ही नहीं अपितु विद्यार्थियों से भी सीखता है. तो हमें एक लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग की तरफ, and this is the humble request I will like to do, that let us keep on continuously capacity building those who want to learn and those who have already have information which they can be share or expertise. So either be resource person or be learners. So there's no third choice, and keep on collaborating. And that's where, and along with the quality content and books, we can really work in a collaborative way, learn from each other, and contribute towards making a better and stronger India in the field of education. So with this, at the end, again, I pay my gratitude to all my teachers, all my teacher colleagues who have been, more importantly, in the last 2 years in this virtual co-learning journey. I have learned a lot from all of you, and thanks for being wonderful, patient listener here. And I'm happy to have more questions with you. Wishing you once again a very happy Teachers' Day. This is the Telegram group that you can refer to your colleagues and others of GATTLC. And if you want to have any collaborative event, you can write to us. We will be happy to take. And once again, I will like to pay my gratitude to all the visionary leaders of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha and this college for calling me on this auspicious day of Teachers' Day. I am really feeling honored. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Principal Sir, for inviting, and all my dear colleagues. Thank you, everyone. Any questions?
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Madam, just a second. I take the opportunity to welcome Professor A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, sir, in this meeting. I welcome Bakshi, sir, please. Bakshi, sir. Bakshi, sir. Hello, sir. Bakshi, sir. Yeah.
I think he has now joined again.
Yeah, he has joined again, ma'am.
If sir can speak, it will be
Yeah,
an honor because
Yeah,
entire team we are working under his
Yeah.
visionary leadership.
Sir, Bakshi, sir. Can you get me, sir?
Maybe he was in some other meeting in between. Maybe he was joining. So
Yeah. Bakshi, sir. He has joined. Hello, Professor Bakshi, sir. Sir, can you get me?
Mane sir, go ahead.
no, I think sir is not available. Yeah, it's just
Okay, fine. He joined, but anyhow, I request our colleagues or audience, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask the questions to madam. Any questions?
The session is now open for Q&A. Participants can ask the question directly to Professor Vimal Rar, ma'am. Any questions? Mr. Nagesh Baliram Birajdar, sir, you can directly ask the question. You can unmute and ask.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
please.
Ma'am, how is it going to be being a teacher in next 50 years? Like, how much will it be a technology? How much will it be an human involvement? And how is it going to be? Like, what picture?
See, Dr. Nagesh, I think this NEP policy also is guiding us in that direction. 50 years is too long. I don't think we can really predict that much. But one thing I am sure that technology will be the center stage. The way last 2 years have seen the upsurge of technologies in all the fields. And ultimately through our classrooms, we are making professionals in all the fields. So they have to be prepared towards that. And the students who are coming in our classrooms will be more and more tech savvy than us. And that's the challenge that we all have to be actually accepting and working towards that. What I foresee is information sharing is not going to be important as we have been doing for the last 50 years. Information will be just a search away, just a mouse click away. But then what has to be done with that information? How we have to be applying it to find the problem solutions to our problems is what preparation we have to do. And that solution will be varying from region to region. What solution problems are there in Indian specific condition? No one from outside the world can do what we can do. So that way I see with our youth, if we can really provide them with this skills, the 21st century skills, I think wonders can be done. Not simply to replicate what is being done in other countries. No, innovative solutions, and they will come only with the real life problems. So all of you look around at the problems, give them technology, give them information, work in groups. So technology will keep on coming and changing. That will also keep on evolving. So we have to be now actually facilitators and mentors. We are not to be just, I think what all we have been doing, we should stop doing that and start from what we have not been doing. Stop sharing the information, stop preparing the notes and come, just students are writing. Come on. Even if your entire semester you are not teaching, are there not any 2 or 3 students in your class who will still score 90% after they have not attended your single class? They will. So what are we? And ultimately after they graduate, postgraduate, 90% of the students are not using that information. And we have not worked upon the other learning outcomes on communication skills, the group work, the stress handling and all. So let them work in groups. Identify at least one project, one internship in every course, which you can put your students, book them, make them into study groups, make 5-5. Okay, I am not teaching, you come and teach me. You reduce your efforts and increase the student effort. Put it other way. That's what is the flip model. Give them information, but let them work. And the moment they start participating, I think that's where the learning is there. They will start knowing how to learn any new thing. We'll be able to prepare them for lifelong learning, because they will have to prepare, they will have to unlearn, they will have to relearn the new things. Complete lies, Kodak, not anywhere. The employers had, all these employees had to learn. So we are the fortunate segment, I will say, those who are teachers. 50 साल से वही पढ़ा के काम चल रहा है. I think we should be taking it in a very different and serious manner. It should not be, we have to really look from our students' perspective. So it should not happen that the content is 19th century, teachers are 20th century, and the students are 21st century. And that we are preparing them for life. So that is not a preparation for life. Let's start interacting with them. Let there be noise in the classrooms, not the pin drop silence. That's my humble appeal.
Excellent, ma'am. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Any other question? We will be entertaining only one, the last question now.
Hello, ma'am. I want to ask one question. What do you think this new educational policy will reduce brain drain to other nations?
This I am saying because, first of all, the brain drain, in one way, it is positive that our students go outside, they get better opportunities, they learn. But at the same time, these bright minds could also have solved the problems in our own country. I think if we are able to tap these bright minds, rather than looking for greener pastures out of the country, can we prepare them as entrepreneurs and create jobs for others? This is what my humble request, and we can really do that. And that is another thing. If we are also, when we interact with our students, we should also motivate them that yes, in your initial stage of career, you should be looking, you have to be selfish, you have to be started earning. Okay, so you look for job. Those who are more risk taking, they can start becoming entrepreneur. And though everyone after some age, when they have reached to a stage, yes, now they can give back to the society. That will also bring a healthy culture, because when they go into industry and the so-called CSR, is it really happening? We have to make it happen. We have to make it happen towards our educational institutions. Healthcare and education institutions need so much of CSR. I may be wrong, but I personally believe मंदिर, गुरुद्वारे, मस्जिद से अच्छी जगह हमारी एजुकेशन सिस्टम है. Can we look for donations in our institutions? We have to find the means. And yes, happy to note many of these institutions are also supporting many. So we have to be requesting all segments of our society. Look at your institution, the legacy you are having. Similarly, so many from all the religions. In Christians also, there are so many schools, colleges, Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, all. So this is actually a learning that we should be taking, that a group of people in that religion, they thought that this is very important parameter that we have to prepare our future generations. But then with a way where we are looking at every religion working in sync with each other to make a happy country, a happy place for our society to live. So that is again my one of the humble submissions to all of you. And when we have alumni, we give scholarship. I think with the students we give scholarship, and if they get better place, they should come back and at least you return that scholarship back. So we should be creating these type of things, or they work. If we are giving them some scholarship, that they understand the importance of that. So many things. So there are costs. So those who can afford, they should be really paying. They should not be up in arms that why the fees is being increased. And we should be looking for those who are really economically weaker section, our counterparts. We have to be really nurturing and helping them. So these type of thoughts, I think as teachers, if we think any decision which is made, we will be more sensitive. And that is another request I will like to do on this Teachers' Day.
Thank you, ma'am. So this is end of Q&A session. Professor Dr. Rar ma'am elaborated various aspects of NEP 2020, role of teacher in NEP 2020. She explained shifting focus from rote learning to creative thinking, transforming culture of assessment, types of questions that need to be involved in assessment, emphasis on quality vocational education, multiple exit options in UG, both multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. She talked about de-affiliation of colleges, national common tests that will provide opportunities at merit level to students all over the nation, integration of CBCS in curricula in NEP 2020, use of technology in learning and teaching, removing language barriers, etc. She focused on rigorous learning in learner-centric pedagogies, blended learning that need to be followed by teachers as well as students, learning outcome-based approach and subject-specific benchmarking, COPO mapping, critical thinking, and looking for real-life problems and providing innovative solutions to all these problems. I really want to thank on behalf of our college for providing us this beneficial and definitely eye-opening lecture. And moving on, I now invite our Honorable Principal, Dr. T.S. Bhosle, sir, for presidential remark. Over to Dr. T.S. Bhosle, sir.
Thank you, madam. Respected Professor Dr. Vimal Rar, madam, and all dear participants. First of all, I would like to say few words about Rayat Shikshan Sanstha Satara. The founder of our Rayat Shikshan Sanstha Satara, Padma Bhushan Dr. Karmveer Bhaurao Patil, has a great role in upgrading the downtrodden society and opening the doors of education to the underprivileged. The college works in remote area where students come from peasant and farmer family. The college has consistently accredited with A grade by NEP Bengaluru. Our mother institute, Rayat Shikshan Sanstha Satara, is constantly motivating us to organize lectures of eminent scholars to enhance educational standard of the students. On this occasion of Teachers' Day, and as we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and for enhancing the quality of education in our country, it is necessary to conduct lectures of eminent scholars on new educational policy 2020 and various skill-oriented courses, value-added courses, career-oriented courses, Swayam, MOOCs, etc. That is why our college has organized lecture on role of teachers in new educational policy. Today, we are with very dynamic personality, Professor Dr. Rar Madam from Khalsa College, Delhi. She has played a crucial role in new educational policy 2020. The topic NEP is very vast, but she has explained in a nice way. For achieving goals of education, Madam has explained various aspects with very good pictures of Guru Shishya Parampara, changes in classroom teaching, use of technology in teaching process. She highlighted aims of NEP 2020. Madam also explained lack of quality research in higher education. She has explained about lack of quality research in higher education. Simply, Madam has delivered very informative talk on new educational policy 2020. This lecture will help us to improve the knowledge of teachers and ability and ultimately increase the quality of education in our country. She talked about academic bank of credits. Madam has also explained problems of deaffiliation of institutes. She also explained about massive open online course, that is MOOCs, CBCS, POs, COs, PSOs, their attainments, etc. I am very much grateful to our CDC committee members, Dr. Vishwajit Kadam Sahib, Honorable J.K. Bapu Sahib, and Honorable Mahendrappa Lad for their inspiration. I am very much thankful to our organizing committee members for organizing nice and fruitful lecture. I express my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Vimal Rar for accepting our invitation as resource person and explained the role of teachers in NEP nice way. Thank you, Madam, and thank you all dear participants for participating in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhosle Sahib, your presidential remarks. Now I invite Mr. Dinesh Sasane sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, to propose vote of thanks of this national webinar. Dinesh,
Thank you, madam. Good evening, all. At the outset, I wish you all happy Teachers' Day. I feel happy to propose vote of thanks on the occasion of this webinar. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Honorable Dr. Vimal Rar, Joint Director, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, MHRD, SGTB, Khalsa College, DU, New Delhi, for accepting our invitation and guiding us on the topic role of teachers as envisaged in NEP 2020. Madam, your guidance is really helpful to us to understand role of teacher in higher education institution. Thank you, madam. I, I am also grateful to in-charge principal Dr. T.S. Bhosle Sahib for organizing this webinar and presiding over the function. I am also thankful to Mr. Abhijit Mane sir for show daring the responsibility of this webinar. I am also thankful to Vice Principal and all the teaching, non-teaching faculty of the college to directly or indirectly involved in this webinar. And lastly, I am thankful to the Dr. Ashwini Tatugade madam and Ms. Namrata Kambe madam for the wonderful anchoring. And last, I am thankful to all the participants for their valuable presence in this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. And once again, happy Teachers Day to all of you.
Thank you,
madam.
ma'am. Thank you.
And with presidential permission, we now declare that this national webinar is at end. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Jai Hind, Jai Karmveer.
Jai Hind.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. Great, sir.
Thank you.